Okay, what's going on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook? This is the GoatCast podcast, but specifically, this is Goat Talk only, where every other Friday we do talk the Goats only. I am CW, co-host of the GoatCast podcast. I'm here with my man King Speech. He's a member of the crew now. So, what's going on, King Speech? How you doing over there?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Doing blessed. Had a nice long week, working hard. But yeah, it's nice to come back, kick in, talk some hoops.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming and join us again tonight, where we will talk another goat or a guy that thinks he's in the goat debate or at the goat status, and we're gonna speak more in depth on that. But shout out to my man Sports Talk Only. He couldn't make it tonight. He's usually the co-host here on Goat Talk Only. Hopefully his work will get a little bit shorter and he can come back and be a part of the show. So we shout out Sports Talk Only. But tonight, I'm sure you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, we'll try to play some clips from it. But Scottie Pippen has some interesting things to say with Peter Bet David Valuetainment on a live stream where he talked about it was titled "Couldn't Win Without Me." So interesting title as usual, but Scotty has some really spicy takes on that, and we'll try to get into some of those. But first and foremost, we're just going to just give a general breakdown. Is Scottie Pippen in the GOAT talk, or even in some way part of has some type of GOAT status? Do you think Scottie Pippen is anywhere near that level?
So the GOAT player, no. He is one of the most greatest all around players that ever lived. Once he became a finished product. All overall, I mean, Scotty was a great, and so at the point he was a finished product, he was almost a typical, a prototypical player. He had a few, he had some weaknesses, but he had a few, and I think it's necessary to note that it took some work to get Scotty. If you look at Scotty's career ascent, people that know he went to Central Arkansas, right? He was about 6 foot tall, and his freshman year, I believe, he was the equipment manager. And then like a lot of guys, like David Robinson did after joining the Navy. Ironically, they were in the same '87 draft class. He got a growth spurt, and next thing you know, he's about 6'7", about 6'7", and he became a star down there. And Central Arkansas was at the time an NAIA. It wasn't even like major Division One. So come the '87 draft, he was a interesting prospect, not really known. When he was drafted, he wasn't even Scotty. It was Scott Pippen.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody was like, who? But this was a genius move by Jerry Krause, who does deserves to get a lot of credit for building the dynasty of the Bulls. He had to do that with the notoriously cheap Chicago Bulls ownership, right? They would never go above and beyond the spend, so they built the team a certain right way. And I like to say, the combination of Jordan, Phil Jackson, and just management overall, they did a great job. I mean, they almost did a con job, because one thing they did, Scottie Pippen, with all his talent, but yet with his limitations, they made him feel like he was on George's level. And I think, at this, he's about to hit 60. If he didn't, he'll be here 60 this year, right? He's September 65. He still believes. I mean, the fact that, what it is the fact that they made him believe it. This is why you get these interviews, and that's great. See, here's the thing. I don't want to get into much with the other guy in the goat talk debate, and the other guy that was brought up. The other guy will get guys that are great, and somehow won't suit them up to believe that they're as good as him. Jordan and Phil Jackson, with his mind, his mind, the Zen master, souped Scotty up
Mhm.
to believe, like, Scotty wasn't putting up the performances. Scotty wasn't tough when it came to going up against the Pistons of physical defense. But they brought him along. And Jordan's competitiveness rubbed off on him. And look, we all know the whole thing that happened during the what was the documentary over the COVID,
Last
the
Dance,
Last
yeah, the
Dance.
Last Dance. Mhm.
Everybody, I mean, a lot of people knew that story. I think that story was given to a new generation. Like, I'm a Knicks fan. I remember Scotty sitting out that play. I remember listening to a radio. The great Mike Breen was making a call, and this is Scotty sitting out like his last play. See, a lot of people don't realize Scotty wanted the last shot, but the Bulls were up six. The Bulls were up six, right, with about a minute and something to go.
Yep.
Scotty got Patrick Ewing went on long, made the move on Longley, hit the bucket, Knicks down four. Scotty again, the Bulls, the Knicks needed stops, so the game was over. Scotty got the ball the first time, break the shot with Mason on him. Ewing came back, 1-on-1 with Longley, bam, down the lane, boom, scored. Now it's a 2-point game. Scotty got a chance to close out the game. Came down, Anthony Mason on him, brick. I'm not a brick. I mean, he just clanked it off. All right. So again, Ewing gets the ball, another chance. Boom. Same play on Longley. Longley couldn't guard him at this point of the game. So tie game now. Now the Bulls got a chance, one last chance out. I think it was about 4 or 5 seconds to go. I can't, I don't remember exactly, but the play was drawn up for Tony Kukoc this time.
Mhm.
The best shooter on the, absent Kerr, the best guy that can, create his own shot. And Scotty didn't like being a decoy. He didn't like being the guy taking the ball out of bounds. And he made a selfish move that he never really truly apologized to the team for.
Mhm.
But as we know, Kukoc made that three, and the rest is history. If not, it goes to game three. Remember, the Knicks were up 2-0. I will
Yep.
say for my Knicks, that's the infamous JoJo English Derek Harper fight. And if Derek Harper wasn't stupid enough to get himself thrown out fighting with a guy who played 52 career games, I think the Knicks would have went up 3-0. Like, losing Derek Harper was huge. So Scotty harbored a lot of resentment for that thing being that story being shared. And I think in his own mind, it's not enough that Jordan said on the same documentary, I wouldn't have won one chip without Scottie Pippen. And Jordan not only feels that, he believes it. Because again,
He
it
said it.
wasn't. Yeah, he said it. He said it clear, and then it's like Scotty still holds his chip on his shoulder as if he doesn't
Mhm.
get any credit. I mean, what else can you do, bro? Obviously, any producer's worth their salt. See, again, well, Jordan could have took it out. I mean, they told the story of the Bulls in from 1984 until 1998.
Yep.
They told the story of Jordan's full career. So I don't understand, like, why would he think that somehow he would have been excluded? That story would have been excluded because it was a huge story. It
Yeah,
was,
it's a
I mean,
part of it's
him
part of
and
their
yeah,
career history.
yeah, yeah. So I got a lot to say about Scotty. Yeah, because he's a player. I mean, really, he was a prototypical player. Like, once he became a finished product, the combination of ball handling, the length that
Mhm.
he guarded with, being able to play. I mean, play three positions in the front court. You could play him at the 2-3. He basically,
Mhm.
but you can guard. He can guard 4 or 5 positions. Actually, he did guard 5 positions, right? He
Yeah,
guarded Greg
he
Osatag,
could. Yeah.
in the '98 finals. So, it. I don't understand why. Like, what Scotty is regarded because of the 6 rings ahead of a lot of players who were better than him. They just were
Mhm.
more dynamic than him. He's regarded because he won the 6 rings. It's like, I feel like the guy was. I'm not gonna call it look because he worked hard to get as good as he was.
Hmm.
But I mean, bro, the idea that you and Dominique, well, who's playing power forward? If him and Dominique would have been on the team, who's playing power forward?
Yeah.
Which one of them are going to play the four? Are you going to play the four, Scotty? I mean, look, you're in an era
It
where
wouldn't
Dale
make sense for
Davis,
Scotty. Yeah.
yeah, you're in an era where Dale
Yeah.
Davis was 6'11" playing with it next to Antonio Davis, who was 6'10",
Hmm.
playing next to Rick Smith, who
Hmm.
was 7'4". I mean, the front courts were huge. They were bruisers. See what's going on in that
Yep.
FYF channel. And I listen. They don't want to be called. They don't want to be called out. Stop putting
They
out
don't.
garbage
Yeah.
journalism. Don't come over. Tell me when the NBA became tough, bruh. Go back and look at the Pacers. And the Pacers were a middling tough
Mhm.
team. Again, the Davis boys
Yeah.
having to bang up with the Davis boys for 48 minutes, bro. Come on, man. And then they had Derek McKee, who could either start or come off the bench. You
Yeah.
know, again, Antonio Davis could play center now. He played small forward. These are the guys
Hmm.
that got Reggie Miller open all day. Reggie Miller running around them big guys.
Yeah.
You
They were
run
setting
around,
them
he trying to
screens, them
chase him
hard
through them
screens.
screens. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now you got big men that don't know how to set a screen without getting an offensive foul. And then, they'll call any little thing. So, I mean, again, and again, I love that he gave some rub to Dominique Wilkins because Dominique Wilkins is one of these all time greats who really, I mean, damn, had he been picked, and again, I know you Carolina guys love you, James Worthy. Look, James Worthy's great. I mean,
Hmm.
you could actually do a grill debate on who was better, Worthy or Dominique. But what if Dominique was drafted to the Lakers? I mean, you're talking a whole
That's the
different,
woof.
you
Ooh,
know what I'm
that's a
saying?
different. If they had to
Yeah,
deal with Dominique in '91,
yeah. Yeah,
that's
I mean,
tough.
and Worthy fit because he was
Yeah.
a
Oh
better
yeah.
all around scorer. But the more, I mean, just Magic, just Magic
Yeah. Magic
catching this
and
guy.
Dominique.
Oof, would have been a match made in heaven.
Oh
So
yeah.
you know, um, yeah, I mean, Scotty again. I'm not gonna say a legend in his own mind because again, he was great, but there's perspective needed, bro. There's
Yeah.
levels to it. Okay? One thing is there's one tape, right? Because I
Mhm.
know this is brought up by a lot of the guys in the LeBron fan community. How Jordan had Scotty and it was so unfair. See, Jordan had
Yeah.
Scotty. Jordan made Scotty. Jordan made Scotty. I'm gonna say it right real quick. He made Scotty. He showed him how to be a professional. He showed him how to be a star. He showed him how to
Some
be a
people don't think
co-star.
that though. Some people think
Yeah,
Scotty was just going to be Scotty.
nah, it took a minute. It took some cooking. And
I
again, look,
think.
Scotty had to actually do the work himself as well. But having this guy, again, one of the greatest all-around players of all time. So was Michael Jordan. Like you got, LeBron. I don't think LeBron James has caught Jordan in offensive rebound. Right? When they tell me that LeBron is a better rebounder, like because he plays defensively at the forward, which forwards defensively are going to naturally get more. But Jordan actually has more offensive rebound. We know that offensive rebound takes extra effort, right? I saw LeBron get an
Mhm.
offensive rebound last night, right? Against the Celtics. And once he got that, I knew that the Celtics were done. But LeBron has never been a particularly good offensive rebounder. I only think he
Mhm.
averaged four a game in any season. I think Michael probably averaged, you know, no, I wouldn't say Michael averaged four, but you
Mhm.
being the forward, you playing close to the basket, you would think you would do that at any point in your career. He might not even have had, he might have averaged three a couple times. I would have to go look at his numbers. But yeah, generally, LeBron James at his peak is averaging about 2 point something off the rebound.
Yep.
And again, that's just, I mean, not to nitpick, but that goes to show you what an all around player. That's the point I was making. Mike is just a great all-around player. Leading the guys other than the 90s if they were
Hold on,
actually
your
good.
audio's going out.
Okay, hold on. I'm
Okay, there you
probably
go.
rubbing
Yeah,
up against
you
my
back. You back.
headpiece. Yeah, my
Yeah,
bad.
you
I was
back.
rubbing up against my headpiece. But I mean, Jordan, if you look at shooting guards at his position, he led them in rebounds and assists every year.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? The reason why you're not going to see as many as assists as LeBron gets because once the triangle offense was implemented, it's not a offense conducive to just holding the ball to get assists. You're moving the ball extra time. So
Yeah,
you're gonna make a pass that leads to the pass that leads to the shot. A
exactly.
lot more in the offense in the triangle offense. A triangle offense player is never going to lead the league in assists because that's just not how it goes. It's not a 1 point guard. It's actually everybody. You
Please,
know.
yes, this is what. And sorry to cut you off.
You
This is
know.
what people
I
have to
know what's going on.
understand. The triangle offense was different. They talk about, oh well, Jordan didn't have the assists that LeBron has, and in theory, a small forward, and this is a fact, usually has 1.6 more rebounds than a shooting guard. So Michael Jordan was a shooting guard.
Hmm.
So it should be obvious that he's going to have less rebounds than LeBron James. But people want to hype that up like well, LeBron he has more rebounds than Michael Jordan. Well, he should. He's a small forward who is 6'9", which could technically play power forward, which he does a lot, which
He
people
played
don't
very power for
also.
the last 6 7 years. Yeah.
Exactly. He plays more power forward than he plays small forward. Um, but people just they want to create what they want to create. But yeah, just
Yeah.
just going off of Scottie Pippen and what you were saying, Scottie, I think it depends on which side of the fence you're on. For those that feel like LeBron is the GOAT, I don't want to say they overrate Scottie Pippen, but they paint him on a pedestal that he may not really be on. And we'll discuss
Hmm.
this further as we go along. He's a phenomenal player. I'm not going to sit here and say that Scottie Pippen wasn't, one of the better players during the 90s and during that period. But the way they paint him is like he was just, if Jordan didn't have him, there was no way Jordan was going to win a chip or anything.
Not
But
even a
then
playoff series. Yeah, that's what
exactly.
One
Then
and
you
nine
think,
with for Scotty.
yeah, if
One
you
and
have
nine before Scotty, like if Scotty showed up
exactly,
day one as an all star, it just
yeah, and if you have a Dominique in there, switch those two. I mean, Dominique's not the defender that Scotty is, obviously, but if you have a offensive firepower of Michael Jordan and a Dominique Wilkins, there you go. But and then if you're on the Michael Jordan side of the fence, sometimes you might underrate him some. We talk about the finals MVPs, the MVPs, all of those things. And obviously Jordan was the best player on the team as far as who was needed to be on that team for them to get those championships. But
yeah.
Pippen did have a lot to do with them winning um those championships. And I think he gets, I mean, Jordan obviously gives him his flowers. I mean, you listen to The Last Dance. I think one of the I think it's on the closing episode, but I'm not specifically sure. But he does say, if when you think of Michael Jordan, think of Scottie Pippen.
Yep.
Because he's one of the reasons why we won all these championships and we got where we are. So he gives him his flowers big time. I never heard Jordan just kind of dismiss Pippen at all, even during all the
Never.
turmoil and everything
Never.
that has gone on. I've never heard Jordan say anything negatively about Scottie Pippen or even his teammates for the most part. I mean, yes, he says that he was hard on them, that he didn't always trust them, and he had remarks for them, but for the most part, he was appreciative of those guys because they toughed it out with him and they were in the trenches with him. So that's where I think kind of Scotty kind of gets his mystique, is because of both sides. You got the LeBron side who pumps him up to a
Hmm.
level that he may not be at, and then you have the Jordan side who I don't think we really underrate him too much, but I think we put him in a place where maybe people think, well, Pippen did a lot. Jordan didn't win until Pippen got there. So that's where I think both sides of the fence are. So we're going to so to continue this, I'm gonna try to play some of the interview.
Patrick Bet David, yeah.
Yeah. I hope it plays well because I was doing it earlier and it was kind of having some issues. But let's listen to some excerpts from that, and let me put that on the stage. So let me see
Jackie,
if
big boy. All right.
let's see. Okay, see, can you hear it?
Favor of the offensive player, and then they
Got it.
went they put the circle in there where a guy is not allowed to take a charge at certain uh, points in the lane, at a certain position in the lane. So I think with a lot of things changing within the game, and a lot of it was for the good. Looking at the physicality of the game as to where it was in the '90s, but I think a lot of that got wiped away, and I think that's where a lot of the fans lost interest.
Okay, this was a short piece where he was talking about the current game and how
Yeah,
it's
state of the
changed.
game, yeah.
Yeah, since they were since he was a part of the NBA. So, do you feel like a lot of people say the 3-point shot is the reason why the game is just not what it was and it's not as interesting. But he says because they punish defenders now, and he feels like defense just isn't where it should be. Do you agree with that? Do you think
Yeah, I
Scottie Pippen
do.
right?
I do it, and that's one of the things, right? There's a lot of factors about the game that's changed. I mean, anybody think it's the same game, really doesn't understand it. But yeah, like you take away a lot of the physicality, and now it's really, if I'm watching the game now, you really they want wide open driving lanes, right? They want a more spread out. And again, there's good to that. There's actually good to that, guys. More positions learning to hit the outside shot. But when it becomes monotonous, when it becomes the layup line, and when you don't have it, like I think one thing I was gonna say earlier about the last part before you went to the video.
Mhm.
One thing I think that people don't understand is that the dynamic duos back in. I mean, look, Stockton Malone played 19 seasons. Scotty
Yeah.
and Mike, they went a good one from 87 to 87 to 98, so that's 11 years.
Yep.
But and again, they grew up together. A lot of these, you don't see too many dynamic duos. Like if I think of a dynamic duo of today, I'm thinking Chris Middleton and Giannis. And again, these guys were babies together. They both were
Yeah.
unheralded. They had to both got to develop into all-star, and they finally won a championship, right?
Mhm.
First remember it was supposed to be Giannis and Jabari Parker, but Jabari Parker tore both knees up. So that's what I'm saying. One of the things that you don't have the continuity of like a core group today, and I think that they don't. I think the people that watch the game today, they don't appreciate how much grows into the grown. Where
Mhm.
Jordan and Pippen got to know each other. Stockton and
Yep.
Malone, like they got to know, like you can these duos, what you count on nowadays, these duos break up or they got free agents and they'll go chase a bag elsewhere. Russell Westbrook and Durant, you thought that was the next pick, Kate Payton and Sean Kemp, right? They both were
Yep.
drafted by the Sonics. You thought that was a new one, and they broke up eventually.
Would you
You know,
say
you
Steph and Clay? How about Steph and
Stephen
Clay?
Clay is one of the ones that's but
Yeah.
let's see. When did Clay tear his knee? So they got those got a 10 year. Again, it happens, but it's much more rare. Like
Yeah.
again, how long did there's a couple of them. I mean, injuries did. Mark Price played with Doherty for a few years. There was a
Yeah.
few of them that lasted a good. Kenny Anderson and Derek Coleman. There was a lot of these duos,
Way
guard and
back.
forward. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of these duos that again they just grew together. Two All Stars or two. all-star level players growing together. Rick Smith and Reggie Miller, you could call it. They played from
Mhm.
Rick. Duncan Dutchman was drafted in '88, I believe, and they finally got to the finals in 2000. So they had a long run together.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's one thing that happens that doesn't have with free agency. The contracts are shorter term. Guys will because when you don't win, you don't persevere. Then one guy said, "Oh, the grass is green on the side. Let me go test my thing. Let me get out of here because I know we're not going to win a championship." Back then, what you didn't have all that. You just kept going. You kept trying until you got to the finals. You got to
Exactly.
the conference finals eventually. So, that's just one of the things that I think people who watch the game today miss. And yeah, he was definitely right about the toughness. And I think that the 3 seconds in the lane, the block charge rule being, the taking
Yeah, they
away all hand checking, it.
yeah, legal defense was taken out too. So I mean, I think that was a good thing.
Yeah, and it was replaced with something different. I know we've had
Yeah,
the discussion about zone defense, and I
yeah,
remember I had that. I want to get back into that because boy, I mean, there's many ways to prove that zone was played. But yeah, he didn't. It wasn't played legal. I don't know. But it's like okay, I can't drive 80 and a 50. And it's illegal to drive 80 and a 50. People drive 80 and a 50 every day if there ain't
I
no
mean,
cop to stop you. You know what I'm
I think we
saying?
kind of
So
agreed that the Bad Boy Pistons played a version of zone
yeah.
that
Well, and there were a lot of
yeah
teams that would do that, yeah,
yeah
to take
you could
away.
play zone without it being
Mm-hmm.
zone back in the day. So it was
Yep.
played for many years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So to say it wasn't done legally, that doesn't mean it wasn't done. Legally again,
exactly.
I can illegally drive 80 and a 50. Don't mean I'm gonna get punished for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So but if it's a straight trooper there waiting in the bushes, that's why we got waves, right?
You done. Yep.
But anyway, that was that Chuck Daly had waves of the for the yeah back then hey
He kept Jordan out of reach of that championship because of that.
exactly. I mean, and again, the Bulls whole group had to grow up. It's like look at
Mhm.
see. Okay, here's the thing, right? Where does Horace Grant fit in? Because Horace Grant came in the same year as Scotty. Might have, he was the second. He was that was the eighth. It was the 10th pick, right? I think it was the 10th. So the Bulls had a second pick.
Yeah.
They actually had the eighth and the 10th. They
Yep.
traded up without trading Horace at the 10th. So Horace could have went to Seattle, and that whole group might have been different. So Horace Grant had to grow up. That first year they played with Oakley. That then the Bulls felt that Oakley was expendable because they felt that. Remember, Horace Grant averaged a double-double that year, his rookie year. Scotty
Mhm.
didn't. Scotty averaged a single. So,
Exactly.
again, people give like Horace Grant, they don't again, he was the missing link in 95
Yeah,
when,
numbers.
he's in
Yeah, look at
Orlando.
yeah. Yeah. Horace Grant's numbers were good.
Yeah.
Almost better
I,
than Scotty's.
yeah. Their best overall shot blocker, a reliable, he was reliable hitting that 15-footer. They don't win without Horace Grant. They don't get the first three-peat. And then Horace went
Exactly.
to, Horace got the bag from Orlando and
Mhm.
left. And that's when that the second year without Jordan before, and again, Stephen A. Smith will point out how, yeah, Scotty, you talking all this, but you put up Jordan. Right? We all know that image put up Jordan. Come on back, 23. You know. So, look, we again, a lot of people I think this generation hear Scotty's name and they don't know exactly what happened. And I guess you gotta live for
Agree.
people that you gotta talk to people that actually seen that era. I remember a lot of people saying, well, when the Bulls didn't fall apart after the Jordan retirement, well, damn, all this time we didn't even know Scottie Pippen was the second best player in the NBA. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
slow down. Slow down. Scottie Pippen was not the
Yeah.
second best player in the NBA. I mean, you still had Malone. You still had Ewing. Still had Olajuwon. You still had Barkley. These guys were better. You still had. So you telling me Scottie Pippen was better than Shaq in '94, '95? No. Robinson. I mean,
Exactly.
Scottie came in there around the 10, 11, 12 mark. I mean, arguably top 10. But Scotty
So yeah,
had a
we're
lot.
gonna look at his
Look,
numbers too.
yeah, yeah. Let's look at
So
here's one number. Here's one number. Scottie Pippen played in 216 playoff games. Do you know how many times he scored 30 points in the 216 playoff games?
I'm gonna say none.
Take, no. He did. But take a
He did.
guess. How
Okay.
many times out of 216 career playoff games? Take a guess.
I don't think it's many because Scotty just wasn't that type of scorer.
It was six. Six
Okay.
times. So
That's more than I would.
again,
Yeah.
I mean, scoring 30 was actually a bigger deal back then. But you know how? Okay, you know how many in
Exactly.
13 finals games? How many times Kyrie Irving scored 30?
I would assume more than that, more than 6.
Well, five. 5 out of 13
Okay.
finals games. We're not even talking about the rest of the playoff. You know,
Okay.
and so when you talk about help, again, Jordan, it was nice where Jordan probably needed a little bit. He probably needed a 35-point effort. He had 0 for. See, Kyrie has about 2 40-point games in the final. Scotty has zero. I think Scotty has 1 40-point. He might not have a 40-point game in his whole playoff career. And that's what I'm just. This is what I'm just saying, right? You know, when you talk about that, and I get that Scotty did more on the defense, and Scotty did more, even though Kyrie's defense on Klay Thompson in them two finals were very underrated, you know. So, you know, when you talk about things like that, you gotta be careful because again, Scotty was great, but he had limitations. Like he was never gonna be that one guy that could explode and go off for 50. It just wasn't gonna. He wasn't that dude. That was Jordan.
That wasn't his
So
style.
yeah, yeah, it wasn't his style. It was actually more. He was more the facilitator. He was more. You know, here's another thing I want to say because you get a lot. What I hate about today's NBA fan is y'all count shots because when you watch the game right now, it's so wide open that all 5 players at any time can get shot. See, back then it was a little bit different. It wasn't a wide open game. You had to work to get open to get a shot, and then when you got your shots, you better hit a certain percentage, or you're not going to be starting. Right? They didn't tolerate guys shooting 37% from the field overall. Now they do because the analytics is working. And if you're taking a certain amount of threes, we'll live with it because now we're looking at true shooting percentage. They didn't look at true shooting percentage back then. If you shot way under 45%, chances you bet your defense better be more remarkable. You
Exactly.
better be hitting a lot of 3-point shots, you know. But yeah, you had to generally shoot 45, preferably 50. You know, and then the shots you got worked for, you had to work to get it. The defense had to work to get you open. So Scotty was never going to get that because he wasn't that type of. He didn't have that. He didn't have Jordan's bag. Jordan
No.
had a much deeper bag than Scotty. Scotty was a great finisher. Scotty was great in transition, but you was
Mhm.
not going to draw up too many plays for Scotty to get, a turnaround puller. It just
Yeah,
wasn't.
nah, he
No, it
wasn't. He
wasn't
wasn't
his
a
game.
set shooter. Yeah, you couldn't just set him
Yeah,
up. Think he was
yeah.
gonna make
He
it.
wasn't a great catch and shooter.
No.
He can make around 30 through 31 to 32, 33%. Certain good years, but he just wasn't a guy you could just count on and knock a shot down. Phil Jackson
Exactly.
said all of this. So yeah, the idea is that, the way a lot of guys look at the game, it's a completely different game back then. And you can't tell me Jordan took all the shots because Jordan worked to get all the shots. There were guys on the Bulls you weren't going you knew they weren't even going to get 10 shots tonight because John Paxson was not going to get 10 shots most nights. John Paxson was
That,
going to get a
yeah,
few, a few shots
that was
over
the game.
breakdown.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
that's how they played it back then. They didn't. You had your
Yeah.
scorer, but he wasn't
Hmm.
a ISO kind of guy. Jordan wasn't an ISO guy. I mean, he could be, but
He could
they didn't.
be.
Yeah, they didn't put him in an ISO situation. They put him where they worked the ball around, where he could get to his angle in his area to where he could post up and make a quick move and shoot the ball and make it. But they don't want to say that. But let's listen to some more of this
Sure.
interview. Let me find the next part. Hopefully I can let me see. Let's see. Like I said, this I may not have it on here, unfortunately.
That we had to put on a show, we had to perform, and that's why
Okay, real
when
quick,
you
he was asking about, when they were at the height of their level, the Chicago Bulls, when they were, the championship Chicago Bulls, about how they played the game, that how it was must see TV, and you couldn't just load manage back then. So he was speaking about that, about them being, as big as the Beatles, as far as that group of guys, from 91 to 93 to 96 to 98. So this is kind of what Scottie's speaking on.
Gotcha.
look at those teams, and especially my Bull teams back there were no days off. Guys came to play whether they were injured, sick, no matter what, because we felt like that we had to perform, and that there were people coming out to watch us perform.
Okay, so I mean, that's something we talk about all the time, is how load management has kind of taken over. And just exactly what he said, people came out to see them perform. And there was no days off. Like, could you imagine Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen load managing during the 90s, and how those fans would come out to see, especially fans from the Western Conference, where they only get to see them twice, once at home and once on the road. Imagine if Phil was like, no, Mike and Scottie, y'all, Horace, Dennis, y'all all gonna sit. We're gonna sit you out for a national televised game. We just gonna write this game off. How
For
big
sure.
of a backlash, and David Stern was a guy that he wasn't gonna play that. He wasn't going to, he was all about the money, obviously, but he was also about giving the fans what they came to see, or what they wanted to see. So, do you feel that that mentality is where the current generation should be? And do you think, that was the right mentality to have back then, when you had a team that was just box office, and the fact that you needed to have those guys on the floor, no matter, I mean, there's nights they're going to be hurt, there's nights they're going to be sick, there's nights they're going to be, just not in the game like that, but you still got to come to play. So do you feel like that mentality is something that needs to carry on into this current generation?
Bro, absolutely. And this is where I'm up with Scotty 100%. Like, if you guys are gonna listen to Scotty talk about anything, talk about the stuff, because again, I know they meant that other channel, Feel Your Feelings, is talking about when did their baby become tough. But let's get into that, because I'm from the era, I'm from the school of, I mean, bro, I've been wearing basketball shorts under my under my jeans since junior high school. So my feeling, it's like almost like Superman's cape. You know how you always Clark Kent always had the Superman suit on him, right? So when he pulled off, going to the phone booth, pulled up. That's how I feel about playing ball. I've got to be. I don't care if I'm in church. If a basketball game is gonna break out in church, I better have some sneakers in the car, and I'm gonna be ready to play. If they ask me to play, I'm ready to play. What I can't understand, like, okay, so when you talk about guys who talk about the joy for the game, and I'm a fantasy basketball player, bro. One guy in my league, I wish I could see you the screen. So I'm gonna probably send it to you off, when we get off. Bro, his whole team is out. His whole team is out. Now, see, there's two things, two ways: injured and hurt. Injured and hurt.
Exactly.
Think about this. Scottie Pippen in 1998 got a back surgery, and surgery that he needed. So he missed the first 38 games of the season. He came back in around February, right? I don't know January. I
Mhm.
really January ish, right? I know the season started later, a little bit later back
Yeah.
then. Started actually in November. Now it starts, but they crunch in more games. But he missed the first 38. How many did he play after that surgery? 44. You think Scotty wasn't hurt? You think Scotty wasn't hurt? You think Scotty was borderline injured? But he played every game. He gave you as much as he got. He didn't have much in the playoffs
Mhm.
that year, but he played it. And he was, really that was again his explosion was going after that year, getting that surgery. So
Mhm.
again, I get it's two sides of the coins. Guys now can go brag about how they don't retire in their early 30s no more because they take care of their bodies now and this, that, and third. But you also do it with the load management. And the load management, again, to me, okay. So one thing you said the other night that I wanted to call you out on, and I wanted to couldn't do it for the comment section, but Tibbs run players into the ground, right?
Okay.
Tibbs is an old school coach. Again, if you look at the minutes played from Kobe and from Michael Jordan in their
Mhm.
championship runs, they played 38, 39 minutes. So when you look at
Mhm.
Tibbs players playing about 36, 37 minutes and, acting like it's a big deal. Like there was one year where Kobe played 42.6 minutes in a championship season. I would have to look at those numbers again. But yeah, and he played about 77 to 80 games. Nowadays, that mentality, look, I was a Kobe hater until 2013 is when, if you watch wrestling, the heel turns face. Kobe was always
Yeah.
a
Oh
heel
yeah.
to me. And then to me, it was he returned face when I watched him leaving games. He had crutches in the post game interview because he was chasing down the point guard that Steve Nash. Steve Nash in 2013 couldn't stop my mother from getting 25. Okay, Steve Nash was that bad defensively, right? But so Kobe said, "Look, okay, Steve, look, whoever the guard is killing us, I'm gonna take it. You just worry about
Mhm.
your end of the play. I'm gonna take over." But Kobe was killing his legs, and see that mentality now. When I look at the other guy, they love over there and fix your feelings. Uh, Sit there and take and load manage on defense to where ESPN is even talking about how he loads manage on the court. Everybody loads manages off the court, but he load manages
Mhm.
off the court. He doesn't move very much on defense. That's not conducive to winning basketball. If you're gonna go out there, play it, give an honest effort. I had some guy in the comments to me. He's 40. Who plays defense at 40? Well, Tim Duncan was All NBA first team defense at 39. So what's the excuse? What's the excuse? This guy hadn't made it again. He hadn't made it in 11 years, and Johnny will tell me that's because the media, the same media that puts him on the All NBA team every year. Make that make sense?
I
But see,
mean,
this is
if Jordan, yeah, Jordan had a 3.2 win share, I believe, at 40.
yeah,
That's a solid win share.
yeah.
Defensive win share.
Defensive Western, yeah. And I know.
Right.
Listen, now they got the next gen stats that will tell you how fast a player moves on defense and all that. How many they try to tabulate how many feet you move around. How what's your there's no perfect way to give stats on defense. You got to watch the game. It's like an offensive lineman. There are no stats that can tell you how good an offensive lineman is in football, right? But you got to kind of watch every play. You see it, Orlando Pace or Tony Gun. I'm not Tony Gonzalez. What's what? Anthony Munoz, right back in the day like these guys never allowed sacks. That's how you knew that they were the cream of the crop at left tackle, right tackle, right? That's the same thing with defense. It's really kind of hard. There's no stat. Because guys will say, well,
Right.
LeBron has the best defense. Field goal percentage against it. But that when he's not closing out, they're not going to tell you how he's not closing out on his man 10 times. So if he's 10 feet away from the guy he should be guarding, they're not going to give him credit for that guy making a open three. So the defensive stats are not, you can't exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Guys gave honest effort. If I'm out there, I'm going to take pride in my defense. If I'm out there,
Mhm.
I'm going to give my effort, and I'm going to play through some back bumps. These guys are the hip injury, and I'm like, okay, if it prevents you from being 100%, I get it. But like, if you can get to a solid 80%, 85%, and your
Mhm.
team needs this
Right.
game, see, you know what happened too. You didn't have big long rosters now back then, right? You only had 12, 13 guys on the team. You would maybe keep an extra guy, whatever. Now they got 15 guys and about five, six,
Yeah.
7 guys in the G League.
Yeah. They had
Back
two-way
then, yeah,
contracts. Yeah.
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 Back then, if you lost if you let an understudy start for you and he goes off, you might lose your starting spot
Oh
if
yeah.
if the chemistry. And so that's another reason why guys tough stuff out because yeah, I'm not gonna let this guy this behind me, and just because I got the contract, he might come out there and play better. But not that Scotty or Jordan had to worry about that. There's certain elite guys didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But Jerome Kersey, God rest his soul, or some one of them guys, like he had Clifford Robinson coming off the bench nipping on his heel, right? He had, guys would have guys at 6 man that if I ain't gonna play tonight, don't give them a reason. Don't give them a reason to make us a lineup change. So nowadays with the guaranteed money and these guys just want to make it
Mhm.
healthy into their contract and so the contract is up. It's a whole different world. So yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted to give about the toughness because I know they arguing that on another channel. But yeah,
Exactly.
Scotty is called 100% right.
Yeah. I mean,
100%
yeah.
right.
Yeah. I totally agree because um you play. I mean, my son wanted to play tonight. I talked to you
Yeah.
this offline,
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
he was sick. His coach was like, "No, I don't want you potentially, getting germs around your other teammates." But
Yeah. And
these guys,
the
yeah,
illness. Yeah. See, when I
mhm,
see illness, at first I'm like, damn, but then I think, yeah, you got to remember we're in a
yeah,
post-COVID world.
yeah.
So
So
one thing they don't
yeah,
want
they don't want no.
pandemics and epidemics breaking out throughout the
Exactly.
league.
So I
And
mean, I understood that, but the fact that he wanted to play, the fact that um, it was a not really a game time decision, but it was a game day decision. But when you have players that want to play, and I've listen to Gil, he says sometimes it's the front office and people, the GMs that won't let players play. Maybe so. So I won't put it all on the players, but you have to take a stand. Like if you can play and you want to play, like they could have left Jordan out in was it 97 in that flu game. They could and legit they probably should have. If he had a
hmm
fever that day, you have to pump him with fluids. That guy was sick. The fact that he came in there and dropped what 38 points.
See, I know you're not a Duke guy, but I'm looking at Grant Hill on the television right now, and
Oh,
this is an example of a
yeah,
guy
yeah.
who
Oh,
I mean, this is LeBron before LeBron, and I remember
yeah.
he had a fracture in his ankle, and they played the Pistons in the first round that year, and he was not going to sit out the playoffs that year.
There you
He
go.
figured he tried he toughed it through it, and he
It's
did
all
more
good.
damage. The Pistons lost, right? But then he got the surgery repaired, and it was a bot surgery, the staph infection, the setbacks and all that, and the
Yeah,
rest is history. So
and that's a
yeah, I
mental.
mean, people.
Yeah,
hmm
that's a mental thing.
yeah.
Like if you know you can go, even if you're not 100%, you're not. You have ailments and injuries, and you're not feeling the best. But you're saying, you know what, I can't leave my team to do this without me. And you go out there, even if you don't, even if you're not your usual self, the fact that you gave that type of that toughness and just showing that you want to be out there with those guys no matter what, you want to be in the trenches with them. That doesn't just go to you, that goes to everybody. They're looking at that like, okay, well, I have to show up, because if the general of the team, the main guy is going to, he's got money. He's guaranteed money. But the fact that he's going to lay his career down to come out there with us, no matter what, that speaks to the team. And just seeing, and I hate to hark on Kawhi and these other guys, but seeing them just sitting out there and, in street clothes, I mean, what does that tell the other players on the team? If you can't come in and you can play, like I can understand if you can't play, if it's just like a dire situation, but with advancements in health and things of that nature, we've seen Steph have the ankle injury and then just fix it. We saw Kobe, when he had his issues with his Achilles and then his knee and stuff like that, he got it fixed. He wasn't 100%, but he was able to play at almost Kobe levels. There's advancements to where you can get to where you need to be out there with your team. But the fact that you want to be out there with your team, you're not going to allow anything to keep you from that, speaks volumes to your teammates and I think to the fans. And we just don't see that as much nowadays. And like you said, I agree 100% with Scottie Pippen that, they were out there to perform. And while this is a sport, is also entertainment. And if you're not out there to entertain for these people that are paying the money to see you, those people that are sitting at home patiently waiting to see these players play, then you're just not conforming to what needs to be done for this sport and for these people, all of us that are out there to support them. So we're gonna move on a little bit. Hopefully this will play again. Having a little issue, but this is where I think this is a part of Scottie's interview that gets a little weird. So
Where
hopefully,
it's where we're viral, right? Yeah,
yeah. Let me
where it
find.
hit the
Hopefully
news
that part.
cycle.
Let me see. Hopefully that part will play.
DM'd you one time, and we went back and forth on the exchange. That was between us. But when your book came out, and you came out with the book came out, I think you said something about how do you want to be remembered, and you said I want to be remembered as the greatest of all time. And this was the Unguarded, and this came out November 9, 2021. If I'm not mistaken, The Last Dance came out during COVID. Was it April of 2020? I couldn't even tell you when The Last Dance came out. If you want to type in The Last Dance 2020 premiere, there it is. Okay, April 19th, 2020, which, by the way, the timing of that documentary couldn't have been better than the way it did right after COVID, because we all watch a Sunday night, 2 episodes for 5 weeks straight. So you were glued to the screen, 8 o'clock East Coast till 10 o'clock, and I'd bring the guys to my theater room. We'd sit there, watch that documentary together. It was epic. But when you said that, this is the one part that I'm really curious from your end. You said, I want to be remembered as the greatest of all time. And there was kind of a little bit of the conflict where you were not happy about The Last Dance, about the stuff that was said, and maybe not enough being covered with you guys. You saying, I want to be remembered as the greatest of all time, how much of that was really what you believed in? How much of that was you trying to sell a book? And how much of that was somebody behind closed doors flattering you, saying you didn't get enough credit for what you did during the Chicago's run?
I think it's just me believing in myself, in the way that I played the game, that I did it the right way. I did it where I won. I played the right way. My teammates loved the way that I played, and people, my peers, respected the way that I played. And I feel like that I got out of the game everything that I put into it. I was a guy that I was a walk-on. I was a guy that went to 3 camps just to get drafted, and end up being the 5th pick. So I feel like the work that I put in, over 15, 20 years, before and during my professional career, that I played the game the right way, that I played it where I showed younger players how to be successful and how to enjoy the game. I showed men's, women who is not as athletic how to play the game and to play it the right way.
Okay, this is where the topic of this whole show came from. He feels like Scottie, and that was a weird question. I think Peter Bet David, I enjoy his stuff, but that was an odd question. He kind of, to me, he phrased it in a way that was tough for Scottie to answer. But this is where this topic comes from. He says that he feels like he is the greatest or one of the greatest, and he did it the right way. He did it in a team focused way, and that he was, he was the guy that kind of led that Chicago team to these championships and to the promised land. So with that said, do you agree with what Scottie said, or do you feel like he answered that question in the best way he could, as far
Mhm.
as him saying, he
Given what
was
that question was asked, yeah.
yeah,
So,
he
so,
was the guy.
so, so it's a slippery slope because number one, I believe you're supposed to feel that way, right? You're supposed to think yourself as the GOAT, right? You're supposed to think of yourself as the greatest, right? But here's a problem. Here's a problem with what he said because there was a lot of I words. See, when you say I, like when LeBron said that right there made me the GOAT, I beat the best team of all time, and you're not using the word we, that goes to show you exactly what, as a team, you realize this is a team sport, right? And it
Absolutely.
almost like he knows to do that, you kind of have to push aside the greatness of Michael Jordan, right? So you got, obviously people, Michael Jordan is, look, right? He said we were like, or the earlier clip, he said we were like the Beatles, right?
Hmm.
Again, so which one is Paul McCartney and which one is John Lennon? I mean, I mean, like, and your question is who was John Lennon was John Lennon the best Beatle, or was Paul McCartney? I mean, we never know because unfortunately Lennon was taken from us.
Yeah.
But which one? Okay, how about this? The Fugees, Lauryn Hill and Wyclef Jean. Which like we all know the
Yeah,
star of the
that's
Fugees,
a tough
right?
one. That's a tough one.
We all know the star of the Fugees, right? I mean, I think
Yeah.
anybody, like the Fugees were a nice group, and then you get Lauryn Hill, and they were just worldwide, right? So, I mean, okay, the Jacksons, Michael, Jermaine. I'm just,
I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
come on now,
you
come
make a
on
good
now.
point. Yeah.
And again, right, when they were together, obviously you need every piece of the ingredient, right? You need every ingredient in the cake. You need everything to make it rise. Like you can't make cake. The batter, you got to have the eggs, you got to have the flour, you got to have
Mhm.
all of that is needed to make a cake. You can't, if you take one thing out, the cake ain't a cake. Cake don't cake,
Mhm.
right? So realize that and understand that, right? I did my part in a great, and that's good that he can take pride. Listen, what I
Exactly.
told you, boy, better to beating a 72 win team is to be a 72 win team and actually win it
Exactly.
all. That was unprecedented back then. To win 68, to win you had 68 and you had 69. The Bulls went 72. They went 3 games over it. So of course, like the Warriors after winning the 67, everybody said, "Well, y'all wouldn't." Yeah, let me tell you something, man. Would have in sports, you can say would have or to the cows come home. What happened? You can't.
Mhm.
What we would have if. No, that's not. So they went and won 73 to kind of put, but then going hard for that 73. They wasn't exactly 100% in the playoff. So again, Scotty taking pride in what they accomplished. Because I mean, bro, yeah, you can say about the expansion, you can say about a lot of things. The Bulls with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen in the lineup, beating a 73 team is better. Okay, all right, we'll get into that later. We'll get into that later. But I mean, being in that, the Bulls won 60 games the first year, right? And then they beat then they went and won 67. Like a lot of people, that 92 team was amazing. Won 67 to 15. Then they kind of cooled off, went 57 to 25, kind of coasted through on that three-peat. When
Yeah.
Jordan came back, it was business. When they got Rodman and Phil, the band was back together. It was a new band, right? A couple of new players, cool coaches, and now we got Kerr, no more Paxson. We got Longley, no more Cartwright. Scott Williams. No, they didn't have Scott Williams no more. So it was a new band, but the main two players were still there.
Yep.
And they went on a tear. I mean, like, listen, I'm a Knicks fan who played them pretty damn strong. In '97, we beat them 3 times, and 2 of them were blowouts. But they absolutely decimated the team. And you know what their load management was? About 20, 30 games. They up by 30 in the fourth quarter. There's no need to play the fourth quarter. That was
Yeah.
their load management. That was their
But they
load
played.
management.
They played every game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That comment that said to beat a 72, winning 72, but okay, but it's equivalent to say it's better to see you beat it. Okay, the team that
I mean, I
won
agree with Randy Cliff
73
on
win
that.
game,
I agree. Yeah.
it's better to beat that 72 win team than to beat a 72 win team and win. No, I mean, is it not better to be a 72 win team and beat a 66 win team in the final? I mean, it's almost like just because you won 54 games, you underachieved. You didn't overachieve, So to win, think about that. The Bulls were at one point 58-4 at the highest level of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, because we all know, like, right, last night that the Celtics went in there on a back-to-back. They had the barn burner against the Clippers. Then and you could see it. These guys brought that intensity every night. They brought that intensity. They didn't play with their food. If Denver was a 500 team, and mind you, this is the Denver with Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, Brian Stiff, Rodney Rogers, Dikembe Mutombo. The Bulls were coming out there and knocking them by 45. It was going, hey, Dart, what's going on? I like
Dart?
to join for the best, man. Oh,
Yeah.
man, we got some celebrities in the building. But
Yeah, we're
to
gonna
go
check that
out
out
there,
Sunday.
yeah, to go out there every night. And I mean, they weren't playing with the New Jersey Nets. The New Jersey Nets had talent. I mean, I know Coleman was a little lazy at times, but they were not playing with the New Jersey Nets. They weren't
I think
playing with the
it's good,
Washington Wizards. They still were the Bullets at the time. They were not playing with you. And then when a team was their rivals, when a team could play them strong, they made sure they showed up. They were not going to let a team that we think that we might see down the low line have a level of confidence. Nah. See, this is what now we do this in a league where we want to say which games are important. This game is not as important because it's a regular season game. Those Bulls did not think that way. If the San Antonio Spurs, who had Robinson at the time, yeah, he didn't get hurt to the next season. If the San Antonio Spurs had Robinson at the time, oh no, we might see Robinson in that finals. We might see Akeem and Drexler were still together. We might see them in the finals. We gonna come out here yeah. So if you go back and look at that schedule, man, the Bulls took care of business. And that's what Scotty is taking pride in. And again, he's a part of it, a huge part of it. Again,
Mm-hmm.
he was Paul McCartney. So, but John Lennon was, John Lennon wrote,
He was easy.
NWA.
Yeah.
NWA. He was easy. He was easy. But we all know that Ice Cube was star NWA. I
That
mean,
was the man. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't nothing wrong with being. Well, I mean, listen, Michael Jackson, like Michael Jackson just ready to. There was no comparing to Michael Jackson. Unfortunately, if you were one of the Jackson brothers, I mean, you know, your brother, yeah, Michael was just he was like a nova in the sky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Michael
So,
going up another level.
yeah. But
So
go ahead.
random clips, real quick. I want to ask you saying, as far as the Warriors playing LeBron and the Cavs and the Bulls playing Peyton and Sonics, it's a big difference.
Nah, we like it. We like the comment, man. But look, when you say Peyton and the Sonics, you're now not understanding how good Sean Kemp was. I know. Look, I know
I
Sean
mean, that
Kemp
was a
had
good
the
team. That
baby
was a
mama
great
drama.
team. Yeah.
I know Sean Kemp had the baby mama drama and all that, right? And got a little fat in his later years. But in '96, if you don't understand how good Sean Kemp was, bro, I can't talk balls with you. I can't talk. Sean Kemp was dynamic.
Yeah. I
Sean
mean,
Kemp would have,
Pippen had trouble with him.
yes. So everybody
Yeah.
had trouble with Sean Kemp.
Yeah.
Everybody, the Rain Man. Again, if and he even says it, man. Look, I let my ego and my personal life get it.
Mhm.
But Sean Kemp was well on his way to the Hall of Fame, my dude. Well on the
Absolutely.
way. And in '96, that was the epitome of Sean Kemp. You might not see it in the numbers, but to understand, you talk about 20, a walking 21, 10, and 4. You're talking about a really
Mhm.
dynamic shot blocker, an impossible cover, a guy that,
Exactly.
you know, from 18. I mean, man, look, don't just say, don't, please give that team used to force 13, 14 steals a game. You know, they would force you in about 20 turnovers a game because they ran that high press defense and without really even pressing you full court. It wasn't like they was
Exactly.
playing the Rick Pitino full court press. They just was so good man, bro. Like I think we got to stop with ranking teams. I really, it's kind of hard, right? Because you heard me do the Joker versus so and so comparison.
Yeah.
So when I think I started that clip saying that I want to see this team versus that team, right?
Mhm.
I want to do 5-on-1. I want to do the whole team versus the whole team. But at that point, I'm just saying, well, how would the Joker fare against Shaq in his prime? How would the Joker fare against Robinson in his prime? And this, that, and the third, right? Okay. I thought you was saying you couldn't hear me. But yeah, how would the Joker, play against it? But how would this team, like, you got to really understand
Mhm.
how good some of these teams were. Just because
Yeah.
the
It's
Sonics
a
only got to
different.
one
Yeah.
finals, yeah,
Completely different
yeah,
game.
underrating them. Yeah, completely different game. It was a lot of competition out west. You
Yeah.
almost had to wait your turn out west, and
I just want to hit random clips. I mean, I appreciate you coming out here, random clips, and give us some food for thought. Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. The Warriors 7-3-9 ran up against a top 3 player in LeBron James and his team, and they lost. And then you look at the '96 Chicago Bulls. They run into the Gary Payton, Sean Kemp team, and they win. They're 7-2-10. Yes, those are different teams, but at the same time, those are different times. The game was played differently, and you just look at. I just always look back at the Chicago Bulls during that time, and you look at the way Peyton kind of. I'm not saying he shut down Jordan, but he caused Jordan a lot of trouble. That team still was able to, within 6 games, get the job done. I think to me, that's a testament to them. And and not knocking the 7-3-9 Warriors, but I think they did too much to get that record. And then they were in the Western Conference where it was a murderous row. And then you look at the '96 Bulls and the Chicago Bulls, where the Eastern Conference was a murderous row back then. And the fact that they were able to get that done, and even Jordan not playing at the tip top of his, his career, his abilities, still being able to, do the things he did in that finals and get them to the next level. I just think there's a difference there, and I understand the Warriors ran to a top 3 player all time in LeBron, but you got to give those Bulls their props for what they did against.
And see, big fact, CW. Can I ask Randall Clips a question?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Is sweeping the prime Shaq, Penny, Horace Grant, Dennis Scott? Is that miss me? That the Magic won 60 games that season as well, right? I mean, you swept them in the conference finals. Realize, let's not just go by. And again, I wasn't trying to denigrate the Warriors too. That was an absolutely great team, right? That was an absolutely great team. Now, for whatever reason, they did not play as well as they did in and again, they went to a murderous road. They look, OKC with that was the last version of OKC with Westbrook and Durant. And you're talking about two guys that when they were healthy, they made it to the conference finals, the Western Conference Finals every year. Go back and look from that first run. Actually, they made 5 playoff runs together where both were healthy. The first time they got to the second round, the second run, they beat the Spurs and made it to the finals. That was 2012. And in every other, so 2013, Westbrook got hurt. They got knocked out in the second round. 2014, they got to the conference finals, lost to the Spurs. 2015, that was Durant's turn to get hurt. They missed the playoffs because Durant was out most of the second. Then 2016, they got to the conference finals. So that was a murderous road that the Golden State had to play to even get. Well, meanwhile, it was very meager competition in the Eastern Conference. So I wasn't trying to denigrate Golden State. But what I'm saying is to be a 72, I was really kind of getting into just how dominant the Bulls were. And that was a 3-year run of dominance. Mind you, the third year, they won 60 games with Scottie Pippen missing almost half the season. So, they were, I believe they were 27, they were 25-13 in the 38 games that Scottie missed. So being that they won 60 games that year, they would have been 35-7, playing with a less than 100%, 35-9, playing with a less than 100% Scottie Pippen the rest of the way. So that was again, you put that group together, and that was just a dominant run. Think about this. In the 3 seasons, playoffs included, they lost 55 games. That is the most dominant 3-year run that any team has ever made. And that's one of the things that if you want to come at Jordan's GOAT status, this is the way I look at it. If you want to you do anything, I said this with LeBron. I don't care. You could put 7 All-Stars on your team. If you want to come at Jordan's GOAT status, I want to see you do something close to that. Let's put a three-peat, and maybe you lost 70 games, playoffs included. That means you got to win minimum 60 games all 3 years. See, that's the thing, right? Nowadays, they don't look at it that way. Well, we're going to save our bullets for the playoffs. There was no doing that. And the Bulls did not do that. They did not do that. Scottie did play the game in year 3 in 97, 98 with his contract, right? So he got that surgery because I wanted to show the Bulls what they're missing when I'm not here. And eventually we learned that was the last dance, that they weren't going to bring nobody back. And Scottie got his bag with Houston, and he got his bag elsewhere pretty much. Houston, the one that paid him his big contract that he deserved, right? So again, I just want Scottie was admiring the dominance of that Bulls run. Again, you're talking about 6 with a team that was Scottie and Mike in the lineup, never lost more than 3 games in a row. 4 from 91 until 98. Now, the 2 years when Michael Jordan was playing baseball, they did have a few 4. But think about that. A team can go on a 3-game losing streak quite easily. Quite easily. They didn't go on any 3-game losing streak. I didn't believe it. Somebody had pointed that out to me. I was like, wait a minute, they had to lose 3 games. And I went through the game log, As long as Jordan, I went to Michael Jordan's game log. You would not fine. They lost. If ironically, the first year, the first championship, they lost the first 3 games of the season. I believe they lost to Philadelphia. They might have lost to Philadelphia twice, but I know Philadelphia was the third loss. They went 0-3 to start the 90-91 season. And they won, they won 60 or 66. They won 60 or 22. And then they won the championship. And they never, after the first 3 games of the season, from 91 to 98, Jordan's retirement, they never lost 3 games in a row. And it's very easy for a team in any era to lose 3 games in a row or get in an NBA schedule,
Yeah, I'm just excuse me. I'm just putting up Scottie's numbers just to kind of get a bird's eye view of what he did, and this is
impressive.
Yeah, we're not I know I'm not, and I'm sure King Speech is not trying to downplay Scottie Pippen at all. He was a key piece on that Chicago Bulls team to get them that 2-3 peats, 91 through 93, and of course 96 through 98. He had a back injury in 98. He didn't play, as many games as he did in the past.
I mean, bro, I didn't call him Ringo Starr, man. Come on,
exactly.
I didn't call him George Harrison, man. I call, Jesus Christ.
So he was still, and what's crazy is you look at this, he was still in the MVP race. He was 10th. Well, no, I'm sorry, that was 97, but he was still Defensive Player of the Year. Let me see. Let me make sure. No, I was right. In 98, he was still top 10 in the MVP race, and he only played 44 games.
Yep.
So you look at that, and Scottie Pippen was still a
big part of that is that 35-9 number. I just
he was a vital part of that team, and we're not taking anything from him. But is he in the GOAT discussion? Do we see him in that range of players? That's where it gets kind of tough because you look at his numbers.
That's the thing. You see those seasons where there are no awards.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep.
You see the season when before he won his first accolade is All-Star, right? Yep. And that was 1990. And then after that, I mean, again, look, I get the reasons why. You got development time, and then you got the time after the back surgery. He was not the same player. But then you talking about GOAT. So now the the all-time great part of your career is about 8-9 seasons. Again, as a hard great. I mean, listen, you really gonna put yourself up there with Will Chamberlain, brother? You really gonna put yourself up there with Bill Russell?
That's a tough place to be. And
we all have our place in life, bro. Again, Scottie had a successful career, as he said. I went from walk-on to Dream Teamer to All-Star to All-Star MVP to All NBA defender to 6-time champion. Like, again, he's lived a charmed life. But there, again, the insecurities, like, there shouldn't be. Listen, we all kind of look back on whatever we did and whatever career we had. I'm not the basketball player I was in my 20s. Exactly. I would love to go back to 25 physically, right? I'm not that guy no more. So, at that point, when you hung it up, you were amazing, Scottie. We all know this. You can walk in. But see, that's the thing, right? The man got himself, because he's so caught up in this, he got himself uninvited to the 75th ceremony. Anniversary. Well, I always said, I don't remember, he was on the 50th and Dominique Wilkins wasn't. He was on the 50th back in 97, and I was like, wow, did Dominique get snubbed? Because Dominique was absolutely better than Scottie Pippen, bro. Absolutely. But because Scottie was perceived as Mike's man, there you have it. We all noticed that Dominique could have been on the Dream Team, but unfortunately, that was the year he tore his Achilles. So, whether they named him or not, he wouldn't have played. But yeah, man, Like Scottie was amazing, but bro, it's just rooms that you don't get to sit in.
I mean,
And again, yeah, you going on that tirade. Jordan said it's either him or me, and then we all know who they're going to choose. You know, you knew who the star of the 75th show was in Cleveland, right? Scottie was on
we
there.
heard it. Yeah, we heard
Scottie
it.
was on there waving on the screen, bro. Like, don't get yourself uninvited to rooms you should be in by being insecure. Because again, you know, you want look top 35, top 40. If you got them in your top, because people got them in the top 20, top 25. I think that's a little high.
That's generous.
I think he's top anywhere from top 35, 40. If you got him fit, he belongs in your top 50 now. Well, because he belongs in your top 50 now. Because remember, he had more seasons to his career from '97, so he did more. Yeah. Look, the second act of the third act of his career, being the leader to that Portland Trailblazer team, who was very close to knocking off Shaq and Kobe in 2000. We all know that, right?
Very close.
Yeah, that was great.
But it was his defense, though. Yeah, his defense wasn't what it could have been or was before. That kind of let them down. And
Scottie was. I want to talk about his defense. Scottie was a real good ball hawk, but Scottie was not a one-on-one lock him down defender that people think he was. Because I remember a lot of Chris Mullin lighting him up. If you go look at the head-to-head with Dominique Wilkins, he would guard Dominique. Mm-hmm. Dominique would guard Mike. Dominique didn't waste time guarding Scottie. Dominique guarded Mike, but he would guard Dominique, and Dominique would light him up for 30. I seen Dale Ellis light him up. Jamal Mansburg gave him 50 in his second season when Jordan was playing baseball. I mean, these are facts. Like Scottie wasn't exactly the perfect defender, but Scottie was a very effective defender. Scottie was very effective at hawking the ball at the passing lanes and things like that. That's why you'll see the amount of steals he had. That's why you see the amount of transition buckets he had. Scottie was great, but I think he wants to believe he was better. And again, remember what I said. That was a mind game that Phil and Jordan played, because for them to be successful, Scottie had to believe he was as good as Mike. Exactly. And they did a good job of making him believe it.
I agree. I mean, but what we say in a lot of facets of entertainment, there's levels to it. And as good as Scottie was, he wasn't at the level that Michael Jordan was. I mean, there's no denying that. I mean, he said, well, I was on the team with the guy that won the MVP. I was on a team with the guy that won the finals MVP, but you didn't. And that guy did. And when he went away, you were pointing at his shoe for him to come back, and when he came back, they did what they did, but when he came back in full force, that 96 season, the team that got them out of there in 95, you put a broom down and you got them out of there very quickly. So that shows you that there's levels to this. And, Scottie Pippen, as good as he is, and he was on a level below Michael Jordan. And I think no matter how you spin it, and other groups that are out there that do content creation will spin it a different way, that it was all Scottie Pippen as to why Michael Jordan won anything. They can do that, but when you look at it, when you drill down and you see what Jordan did for those teams, he was the X factor in all those championships, and without him, they wouldn't have won one.
Listen, so every singing group has
compared to LeBron.
Every singing group has a star. Yeah. Every rap group got a breakout.
Exactly.
Tribe Called Quest. Cute. I mean, look.
I love Phife,
Outkast.
but I love Phife.
Outkast.
Yeah.
There's 3 stack. Big boy. Listen, Outkast ain't Outkast without Big Boy, but we all know who the star of Outkast is, right?
There you go.
3 stacks. I mean, bro. I mean, that everybody can't be Beyonce. You know, ain't wrong being Kelly Rowland. I actually prefer Kelly Rowland myself personally, but you know, we all know Beyonce the star. That's the job.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm a Wu-Tang fan. Method Man is the star.
but you know what? People will say it's Ray. People say it's Deck. That's a good thing about that's a good thing about you know, the genius technical.
I mean, they're all
They
great.
you know, yeah, you know what I mean. Like Hart
Who's
Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart was the star. You know, I mean, come on, bro.
There you go.
It's like
Yeah.
you know, like it's okay, but see that, and maybe because I'm a Marine, maybe because I'm a you know I'm a Marine vet. So when you understand that, that I'm just one part of something that if I'm one part of something amazing, I'll take pride in that, bro. I'll take pride in that because the Marines can't be the Marines with just me being the best Marine. No.
Thank you, man.
No. And we understand a chain is only strong as its weakest link. You know, we understand that you could be the prototypical Marine. You are nothing without your brothers. You know, why go watch Band of Brothers and understand something, bro. Go watch Band of Brothers and watch it on repeat. I watched The Wire 10 times back to back. Go watch great, understand it. You just a piece of something great. You ain't got, you know, Jordan knows that.
Exactly.
I
That's
couldn't
why
have won without
he
Scottie.
knew
That's
that. He
it.
knew he needed Pippen to be who he
Yeah.
was. And he doesn't. I haven't heard him deny that. I never heard him say,
Bro,
yeah, that made me the GOAT.
Jordan, you know why Jordan snuffed Steve Kerr? Because Jordan expected more out of Steve Kerr. Jordan wanted Steve, and Steve Kerr will tell you this as one of the great coaches today. You know what? I didn't like it at the time, but I get it. I get like that he was driving us to be great. You understand what I'm saying? Steve Kerr, a little white boy, barely could dribble, but he knew that those 2 times that I got to go to you for a shot, you need to know where to be. And that's the idea. It's not like the narcissist who got an Anthony Davis right next to him and still feels the need to soak up the glory. Got the guy, you get the guy you want, it don't work out the way you want it, and then now it's everybody else's fault. No, that's not Jordan. That was never Jordan. And so again, yeah, the freaking Hanson. What was the other guy? Judd Bushler. All of those guys were important. That's the way he felt. Dennis. Wait, Scotty's out. Dennis, I'm gonna need you, bro. I need you focus. Tony, I need you focus. You know.
What up, Sports Talk? Appreciate you stopping
what's
by.
up, man?
What's up?
What's going on? We kind of gone through our Scottie Pippen assessment. You know, him being in the GOAT, somewhere in that GOAT status. What's your thought? Did you listen to the interview that he had with Peter Bet David?
Briefly, I didn't really see the whole thing.
Okay.
I've just been busy, but I think he was just trolling the interviewer, really, and trolling everybody else.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't really think he believed that. He kind of was saying a lot of the stuff he was saying with like a mischievous look on his face. Well, like it seemed like he was trying not to laugh. Some of the stuff he was saying, that's how I see what he was saying. But I think he might feel like he's slighted as far as where he's rated and how his career is viewed. I definitely, huh?
I understand why he would feel that way.
Yeah, I definitely don't think he believes he's the GOAT. I definitely don't think he believes that by any means, but I think he was just, I think he was kind of being condescending towards the interviewer more than anything.
Yeah,
because the interviewer was kept asking him the same questions about Jordan, and like when he wouldn't answer it the way he wanted, he would still keep trying to go in that same direction. So I think he was kind of just being condescending towards him.
Yeah, I agree. Because if you watched it, you could see Scottie's body language, and I think he got a little bit tired of. I just think that question threw him off. So it's like I'm gonna answer it the way I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna say I'm the GOAT. Yeah, it was a weird, like the way he asked it and framed it would throw anybody off, I feel. So in that respect, I give Scotty, and I give him Scotty props. And I did a video on my other channel where I said I like that he stood up for himself, because that question that was a bad question. When you really think about it, asking him, uh basically trying to pull out something that he wasn't going to say. Um, so yeah, I applaud Scotty's, what he said, even though none of us believe he's the GOAT. But the fact that he said, I was a good teammate, I did this, and obviously those were little digs towards Jordan, but I didn't disagree with what he said. He was a big factor to that team. And without him, they wouldn't be the team they were. But like you said, I think the interviewer did a horrible job of asking some of those questions, and I think he wanted something that he didn't get.
You know what I think? I think he was trying to pull, because Scotty said a lot of these things in previous interviews.
Mhm.
So I think he was trying to recreate and pull some of those same quotes out of him again. And again, it's almost like, okay, we've heard this enough. We like what
Mhm.
new what any like wasn't like nothing hasn't been said before, or wasn't like anything posture Scotty tried to do before. So I think he was trying to pull him out and get some viral moments. And again, like
Mhm.
yeah, I said this. Patrick Bet David is a political guy. He's really not a sports guy. I know he's a part owner of the New York Yankees. That's the extent. Like he probably knows A-Rod personally, right? But that's the
Mhm.
extent of his sports and not like that. This is the guy that's going to talk the election more than he's going to talk sports. So it's almost like Stephen A. trying to get into the political realm, right? All right, you
Yeah.
made a couple of good points, but this is not your thing. You know,
Yeah.
leave it to the sports journalists.
Yeah,
You
I
do your red
agree.
pill stuff. You do your political stuff.
Yeah, and I actually enjoyed the interview, but that was my only thing is, and other channels have said this, it kind of felt like a interview for Michael Jordan hot takes, or whatever you want to, however you want to
Yep,
say it.
and that's what
Yeah,
they
that's
doing.
what
And
the
Yeah,
comments was saying.
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what they
yeah.
doing.
That's pretty much what it was. He wanted to get these hot takes about Michael Jordan through Scottie Pippen, who we already knew didn't have the greatest relationship with Mike now, after the Last Dance and after all the stuff that he said. So he tried to pull stuff out that Scotty really wasn't willing to give him.
Yeah,
And
it's some.
yeah.
I think they need to mend, it looks like one thing that they come out. He said we probably won't, but they got listen. Before these brothers are gonna be six. Michael's gonna be 62 this year. Scotty's gonna
Mhm.
be 60. Um, but y'all brothers, before y'all hang it up, man. Y'all gotta
Mhm.
come back together. Y'all gotta have some bold ceremonies and stuff, because that was too good of a I mean, look, we've had some famous breakups in the past, man. Cheech and Chong broke up, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That ain't back. That ain't back. That ain't back cool again. Like, at some point, y'all got to do that before y'all, before you before y'all take y'all dirt
Mhm.
naps, man. Before y'all get too old, we don't want to see y'all up there with walkers at a bull ceremony while y'all still can actually, go out there and hit a few buckets. Patch this up, man, because it's been
Yeah.
too long. It's been too much.
Yeah, I feel like they tried to do that last year with the whole I can't name of the thing, but the Bulls had a ceremony for the 96 Chicago Bulls, the 72-10 win Chicago Bulls, and none of those guys showed up. Jordan didn't show up, Sky didn't show up, Rodman didn't
Mm.
show up, and I felt like that was their time to kind of, just get this band back together and just kind of hash out everything. It didn't happen. Like you said, though, these guys are in their 60s now. The- I mean, they're not going to get another accolade. They're not going to get no more stats. It's over for all of them.
Mhm.
Just
Mhm.
hash it out. I mean, everybody's greatness is on the shoulder of these other guys, of each other. So
Yeah.
actually embrace that. I feel like,
Look,
and we might be being too gracious to Jordan, but I feel like Jordan has said as much to about Pippen that he feels he is his greatest teammate and all those things, and he
yeah.
hasn't. I haven't heard him go against that. Pippen
I
kind of
think
denying that is just
I
crazy.
think there's a. I'm sorry because
No, go
I
go
think
ahead.
there's
Go
a
ahead.
little bit of the. I think there's a little bit of the Bulls organization too. Got a little like the Bulls organization could be better mediators in this situation, right? And I know a lot of the Ronsdorf don't own Ronsdorf and that same family don't still own the Bulls, but again, you talk about the period in Bulls history, right? Other than the Rose years, I mean, it wasn't much to write about the Bulls, right? Zach LaVine, a couple of teams that were decent, the DeRozan and stuff, right? But other than that, that was the period of the Bulls history, and the Bulls. I think the Bulls organization probably needs to do a better job because if you're going to
Oh yeah,
commemorate a great team like that and not have any of the key pieces show up, that's just
yeah,
yeah, somebody's gotta I don't know who because again Jordan and Pippen are very legends in their own right, and I don't think there's anybody in that organization big enough to like I mean even Phil again like they can't it's almost the fact that that last dance they cast everybody out that look F the Bulls I don't care about I know what I did I make my own brand and that's
yeah,
kind of what's going on there and now the particular teammates, they're not really feeling each other either. Like I don't see Jordan hanging out with Ramen that much. Maybe
yeah,
they will behind the scene, but that's how it goes. Horace Grant, they did
yeah.
do that little tour with Horace Grant, Longley, and Pippen, right? That was kind of weird.
But actually, it was
That they
actually a
did
good
something in
tour. I
Australia,
mean,
right?
yeah, yeah. They actually, it was a positive type of thing. It wasn't really a negative.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
They
So
hoodwinked you into thinking they were going to spill the dirt on Jordan,
yeah,
and it really wasn't about that.
nah. But the biggest thing I think for them was from that, that when them celebrating that '96 team is the fact that I got to go. I have to go against Jordan in this one. The fact that Chicago Bulls, those fans booed Jeremy Krause's or his um Jerry Krause, excuse me, wife during that ceremony. That was just awful. The man is not here anymore. Booing her, what's that? What good is that? They haven't had the same career, but Jerry's not here anymore, and he's not the one that's putting these teams together. But he brought you a six championship team.
Yeah.
So, booing his wife was just, and the fact that Jordan and Pippen, those guys didn't, I think Stacey King did speak out about that and a few others, but the fact that they didn't kind of come together and be like, come on, Chicago, we got to do better than this. I didn't like that, but yeah, these guys, these are grown men. These are senior citizens. They need to come together and just, embrace the greatness that they had during their period of time, and this is what we're talking about right now. We are embracing what they did, and they should get together and do the same thing, I feel.
I agree. Definitely agree.
So
Yeah.
with that said, sports talk, you got anything going on? We do want to I don't know about you two, but we would not mind if you guys want to do a little debate at some point. Not, of course, not tonight, but in the future, would you guys be willing to do a little debate? I know you guys went a little back and forth last time we had our GOAT talk only, but you know, in the future, would you guys want to, doesn't have to be Jordan and LeBron, but I think that's a topic that is very near and dear to both. So would you guys
Yeah.
be interested in doing that?
Yeah, oh, definitely. Look, there's a billion topics in sports, man. There's a million topics in basketball to talk about. Yeah, I mean, because I get like I told you, I hear takes, and sometimes my ears percolate. And again, you know, people have the right to have their own perspective, but
Mhm.
if I see a perspective that's kind of not necessarily based on facts or based on and it's based on sort of media narratives and stuff, or I'm definitely gonna debate it. And again, that's as long as it's based on the truth, yeah, so it'll be fun to have a debate.
How about you, sports talk? You
Oh
willing
yeah,
to?
my bad. My
Oh,
fault,
you
my
good?
fault.
You good?
So I'm looking at my schedule right now as far as like work and shit is concerned. So I did get off a little early today. I was really supposed to be in till 11.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to see when next time I'm off for sure, so that like when you schedule it, I can be there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, just let me
I
know.
I had to make sure
Okay.
I'm off for sure for that day.
But you're willing to do this. You're willing to
Yeah,
go
for sure, for
one
sure.
on one. Okay. Well, I'm willing
I'm
to be the moderator, and we can,
I'm thinking probably either the 21st or the 28th next month.
21st or 28th. Okay. Okay.
That's what
I'll,
it's looking
We
like.
talking February?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, my schedule is mine, so
okay.
I set my own schedule. So whenever you're ready, I'm
Okay. So
down.
do we want to do a Jordan LeBron debate?
We could do Jordan LeBron. We could also do. We could. I mean, I don't know. If you got enough room for two because I don't know. I could do Jordan LeBron all day, but I like challenging myself with other.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I
Other.
don't, we could debate whatever,
Okay.
whatever
Sure,
you want to do.
Okay. Well,
sure. I mean, like
I'll set it up, and we can talk.
I wound up in an impromptu Willis Reed versus Dirk Nowitzki debate last night. That's because somebody was talking trash to the Knicks, and I'm like, okay, talking about trash about the Knicks, and I'm like, I mean, listen, don't go underrating the captain, man. But
So
I
yeah, we're
did
trying to
want
get
the
a little bit
impromptu.
of that going on here too. So this will be our first little foray into a debate. So we want
So the first
yeah,
one should probably just be that then.
to be what? Sorry.
The first
Cool
one should probably
beans.
just start with Jordan and LeBron then.
Okay, yeah, that's
And
fine.
then
Jordan
we can
That's
go
LeBron, the
fine
from
with me.
there.
ultimate one. Yep. Cool beans.
Okay. So we will set that up, and we will get that. Like I said, if you want to, we can do it on here, and then if you want to multicast it to your channel too, because I know sports talk. You doing your thing over there. Also, King Speech. So we can try to, because I pay for StreamYard, so we should be able to multicast it to a couple of places. So if you want to do that, just let me know, and we can set that up too, so that we can get it going around the YouTube sphere. And I think it'll be a good one. I both of you guys are passionate guys, so I will definitely want to be here to see that and moderate that, and I will definitely try to get Big Nige here to be a part of it. He's
Did
feeling a
you
little
ever
rough
reschedule
tonight. He
with
was
your
going
boy
to
for
come
the?
tonight. What,
I'm sorry.
what's up?
Did you ever reschedule with your boy for the last show, the one that had the audio problems at the time?
Not yet, but he will. I'll try to get him on too. Like we had that. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, I'll try to. Me and him have been talking back and forth since
Okay.
then, so we will get him on as well. So maybe I can. I got a few people that'll probably be willing to, uh, watch the debate and score it. So we'll work on that and get some people
Okay.
on for that. But yeah,
Listen, man,
I'll start.
I'll try to throw you some topics too, because I remember I was telling you a lot of these topics is coming in my, again, you
Yeah,
watch the
yeah,
news cycle, and I always try to, again, I always try to get not just what everybody talk about and put another spin on
yeah.
what people are talking about. Like I said, that's why I came up with the the Joker versus like really how would you what would a matchup with Joker and Shaq or Joker and Keem or Joker and Ewan look
Yeah,
like?
we
And I
might have
think
to
again,
touch on that
this is
at some
this is
point
a
too.
shout out to my love for Joker because while I love my 90 center, like yeah, Joker is something we never seen before. So
What?
that deserves proper.
Speaking on Joker, I'm I'm seeing a lot of stuff about him. Like, I'm seeing people call him the GOAT.
Really?
No, like dead serious. There's a video about it.
I will say this. What he's doing has not been seen before, and that's he's doing something that hasn't been seen before. But he's not the GOAT. Let's stop that.
Yeah, I mean,
let's stop that.
Doing it for 2 or 3 seasons is not give
Yeah.
you GOAT status at all.
No, I mean, yeah, he's been very good for a while ever since they unleashed him, right? Because I remember the days where he was sitting behind Nurkic. You remember that? Like he wouldn't even start over Nurkic, and now Nurkic don't even start for a damn team that's in the lottery. That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah, but please let me know who said he's the GOAT, because
Dan Lebitard or something like that.
Oh, okay. So he's trying to go viral. He's trying to get clicks. So Dan Lebitard, this is
no.
Is he still at ESPN?
Nah, but he said it on. I forgot. It was on some show. It was on a podcast or something.
Bro, he when you lose that ESPN paper, you gotta do whatever to get back in the limelight. So let's stop it.
Yeah, it was on the OG's podcast with Mike Miller and Udonis Haslem.
Okay, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. But if he actually said that out of his mouth, I hope the chat got him for that.
No. The chat was saying that he was. I'm in the comments like, what?
It wasn't his poppy. His poppy didn't say that because that was the shtick, right? His poppy would say something off the wall. Yeah. And we had that highly questionable show, and the father with this thick Cuban accent would say something crazy. I mean, Jesus.
No, he was serious.
Okay.
Jokic was the GOAT. Is the GOAT?
Yeah. It says the title of the video is, it says he reveals why he thinks Nikola Jokic is the best ever. And there's a bunch of comments saying that he is.
Now, did he say this is the greatest individual season? He's on the way to the greatest individual season, or did he say he was the all-time for his career? Because that makes no sense.
He's saying he's the best player ever. The best season, even then, I wouldn't say this is the best season. You gotta win a championship.
I put it this way. I mean, if you take championships out, right? Because I think individually, Steph Curry's the unanimous MVP season definitely is a top 5 all-time season. I mean, if you go back and look at the numbers,
could argue that.
Yeah. But I would see. You see how he says something like that? All right, we know that's ridiculous. But if you want to rank individual seasons based on where he's going right now, and look, he's not even going to win MVP. Remember, I told y'all SGA is winning the MVP. Thank that. Unless they get up to the second seed, and I don't see that happening. I mean, they need they could, but unless SGA is going to win the MVP, but individually, this season is just amazing. One thing I like about the Joker is he can dominate without scoring 30 points. And I love when players can do that, right? Like Magic Johnson can dominate taking 5 shots, and that's a special player can do that without having to get 50, but yet can get 50 if needed. So, and the numbers are great. That this whole story with Westbrook is Westbrook Reclamation Project has been a great story. Denver's looking good, but pump your brakes on the GOAT talk. Yeah, I'm a big Joker fan, but that's
no. I mean, I appreciate what he's doing, but there's no way
Um,
you could put him in the GOAT debate at all because
he
you
just
know
hasn't. He
he
just don't got the resume.
no he
He
doesn't
ain't
have
done it
any
for long
growth.
enough yet.
No,
I
he's
mean,
got
it'd
great
be one
teeth.
thing to say he could be on a trajectory if he keeps this up. You know, he makes some more deep playoff runs, wins some more championships. You know what I'm saying? He gets some more All NBA teams on his resume. You could say he's on a trajectory, like if he keeps playing at this high level, right? And
Yeah,
he keeps racking it up. But I just think that, obviously saying he's the greatest player ever is, I mean,
he's he's not even the greatest center. So how can you say he's the greatest
Yeah,
player if he's not even the greatest
yeah. I
center?
mean, I like that. Again, put him with Will Chamberlain in his prime, and it's just like it's just
Yeah,
a
Will
match.
is
It's
going
just
to
a
be
match of
absolutely
nightmare.
they
You
say
know.
he's got the best
destroyed.
prime ever too, which I don't, I don't.
That I think is an argument too. I'll put it to you. There's another debater that I think there's an argument to, and I could take the pro Joker stance on the prime, because if you want to say his prime goes back to about 2019 till up, we talk about 6 years now, but he's been that type of dude.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
I'm not saying he has the best prime. I'm just saying there's an argument for it.
Yeah,
And
he
when you
got a
look at
solid
some of these
prime.
unprecedented numbers,
Yeah,
he
what he's doing
almost, when
right
he won the
now is
chip, he almost
yeah,
averaged a triple double in the
yeah.
playoffs. Almost. It was a few assists shy. And again, that hasn't been done. To win a chip, averaging a triple double, a 30-point triple double with that.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I mean, look, there's some things that's good. Statistically, you're gonna see it. I mean, there's some statistical arguments to be made.
I gotta
But
look
I think
because yeah.
I was just gonna say I think that his career got to play out first. Because
Hmm.
yeah, that's true.
before we be
That's
like he
true.
got the best prime and all that, like
Yeah.
when you talk about the statistics, that's impressive. You know what I mean? But I think that some of his career has to play out more, and we have to see a little
Mhm.
more, and then we could be like,
See,
you could add that as a notch and be like, yeah, this is proof he got the best. You know what I mean?
see, I'm
I think
when it
people are
comes.
just saying it, and it's kind of just like, I don't know. I guess it's whatever sticks.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just we haven't seen this in a while. A guy that, let's be honest, he's not athletic. He's not, he's not your prototypical guy that you would think would be putting up these type of numbers. I think that's what has people talking about him like that because he doesn't look like even
Doesn't look the part.
yeah, it doesn't even compared to Luca. Luca at least is more of a perimeter style player, but you look at Jokic, he's a center, but he's
So
doing these
think I
things.
I look at it. I look at it like
Yeah,
this. He's not Larry Bird, but if
no,
for those of you that didn't watch Larry Bird in his prime, this is kind of what Larry Bird did. Like he doesn't do it like Larry Bird,
no, he
but
don't do it like
when
Bird.
but
Mm.
this is the closest you will see to what Larry Bird impact was on the court. So his impact on the court is absolutely it's like it is up there. It definitely is
Mhm.
up there. I know in this league, again, this league is a little bit different, being the wide open style and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, this is a guy who definitely makes everybody better. He doesn't. I think what the difference between him and Luca is Luca kind of holds the ball a little too long. Joker don't do
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
Yeah, Joker is a little bit different. And like, again, a point center. Who thought we would ever seen that? But again, we see that's why I want to finish my one-on-one matchups with those centers, because I think again, a lot of people think he would. I put it this way: I don't think there's any matchup with any center of the past where he gets decimated because of what he
Mhm.
brings. Like, he doesn't get
Mhm.
decimated because you might be able to score. He might be hard to stop, a certain guy, but you're not going to stop his playmaking, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
You're
agree
not
with
going to
that.
stop his playmaking, and you might be out of your comfort zone guarding him all over the court. So yeah, these matchups will be a little more interesting than a lot of people think. It's not, but he's not. He's not. Look. He's not gonna dominate a Patrick Ewing with that 8 foot wingspan. It's gonna be a. It's gonna be like a punches and counter punches. So, there are going to be some things that Ewan will stop him from doing, be some things Ewan can't stop him from doing, right? Or Robinson
Yeah.
or anybody, a Shaq. Like I said in my Shaq debate, like I would see put it this way. That's how I looked at it. If Nuggets went against Shaq's Orlando Magic, I'm not even going to use the Lakers, but if his Nuggets went against Shaq's Orlando Magic, that series would go 7. I'm not saying who would win.
Absolutely.
But that series
Absolutely.
would go 7. Because again, and that's a testament to what Joker brings versus what Shaq brings to a team, So that's the interesting way I kind of look at that. But it's interesting because Joker is something we've never seen before. He doesn't do it exactly like, but he again, his footwork is amazing. His quarterwear is like this quarterwear is just there's just certain guys that they just know what the hell is going on in the court. Magic, LeBron will be one of them. They know
Jokic
what's going on
proponent
all over the court. Yeah.
But before we get out of here, I just got to ask both of you on this topic: is Jokic the best center of all time? And this should tell us what we need to know.
No, not yet.
No.
I put it
not
yet.
I gotta watch his career play out. That's how I look at it.
If he's not the best at his own position, you can't put him in the GOAT debate.
Okay,
and even
about
saying
CW, if he gets another MVP and another ring Finals MVP, he's top what? Finish that statement.
Top 5.
So he's already got 3-1, right? 3-1-1. If he gets another 1-1-1, just 1-1-1 minimum, he's top what all time?
He's top 5, but I can't. How can you put him over?
Put 5 all time? Ooh, that's a little
top
higher
5.
than I would.
You mean top 5 all time, or just top 5 centers?
No, I mean all time player. All time.
All time. Oh, top player.
He probably cracked the top 10, maybe
15, maybe 10.
Yeah, I mean he would have more of those than Akeem, and Akeem is my 10th.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
again, it's a different era, right?
Yeah.
There's the centers, but again, he would have 4 MVPs. Akeem don't have 4 MVPs.
Yeah, this is a different era, though.
I know, but still, the MVPs is the MVPs is the MVPs, right? Look, Bird don't have 4 MVPs. Magic don't have 4 MVPs, but of course they got more chips. But again, I'm going MVPs. Another ring. Now look, he could get 2 more rings. Okay, now you look at
it's a different story, but
he could get 2, 2, and 2. It'd be 5, 3, and 3. Again, that's rarefied air.
That's top 5.
Duncan don't got 5 MVPs. He got the rings, but he don't got 5 MVPs. So there's a lot. Again, there's still a lot to play with, bro.
But I mean, I don't think he. Just be honest, I don't think he winning. I ain't gonna say he can win another chip, but he's 29 years old. Normally, guys cap out around 33, 34.
He don't have an athletic game. He has a ground to the basket game, so he could do this for another 7, 8 years. Now his game is not predicated on speed and athleticism.
Yeah, you could say that, but still, when guys start fizzling out, I know as much as you don't, necessarily give LeBron his props as much as we talk about it, but guys fizzle out after like 33, 34. Now, from the age of 29 up to the age of 34, 35, are we really going to think he's going to win 2 more chips? I mean, I'm just asking the question.
Here's what I'll say, because this is such a wide open era. I don't think anybody will repeat. I don't think there's gonna be repeat. I remember I told you that, right? I don't think there's gonna be repeat champions for a while.
But
any year he's in play. I mean, even this year. We don't know that they can't get through the playoffs.
This kind of the point I want to make with the top guys, especially with LeBron and Jordan. And I don't even want to say in an era like this, but when there's no overwhelming force. Like when LeBron was going to the finals, who was he running up against? It was, for the majority of them, it was the Warriors and the Spurs. That was the most of his losses. And those are dynasties, right? When Jordan didn't have any overwhelming force in the league, we saw what he did, right? right now, there's not an overwhelming force in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
So Jokic, I think he's great, but when we're talking about putting him on that level, like if you put a prime LeBron in this conference right now, you put a prime Jordan in this conference right now. I mean, that's a straight trip to the finals. A straight
Well,
trip to the
depending on the
finals.
team you put around them, because see, you just I get you talking about the
No, no,
greatness of
no,
the
no, no.
player.
I wouldn't even say it depends on the team you put around. It does. But we're not. The Nuggets aren't like horrendous,
No, they're
and
great.
and and there's not. And that's my point. It's not like it's a horrendous roster around him. It's not like and then based on that point, we have to look at the fact that what I just said, there's not like an overwhelming force in the NBA right now, especially in the Western Conference. So I look at it as if he doesn't get his team to the finals, or at least the Western Conference finals, right? It starts to look as though, because especially when people start saying he's the best ever or he's got the best prime ever, I can't. Yeah, there's no way, because I know what a prime LeBron would do or a prime Jordan would do in a wide open conference.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, you put Jordan, you replace Luka with Jordan, that Mavs team is a completely different team. If you replace Luka with LeBron in his prime, that Dallas team is a completely different team, and you're probably not beating that team. So yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, you would think somebody that they're calling the greatest player of all time, his Denver team would be a little more. They would challenge a
You would
little
want to see a
more.
dominant. You would want to see them be a dynasty the
Yeah,
way other all time greats, and I think
Maybe
that's a slippery slope
maybe not
because
even that though, but just making deep playoff runs. He don't even
yeah, I
have to
got
get
you.
to the
Like
finals
last
every
year,
year.
going out in the second round to the Timberwolves
Yeah, yeah.
after
But
winning the chip is kind of.
I
But I
mean, do
think
you
again, I got
go ahead?
no. I think that's the idea is though is that yeah that while he has a good enough team to win any year, I don't think they have exactly the same system that's going to win every year. And I think because we've seen LeBron dominate a conference, right? We've
Mhm.
seen the Bulls dominate the way they did. That we think that's necessarily necessary. Like, let's put it this way: the Spurs didn't go back to back until the Spurs never went back to back. And again, they only won two straight conferences one time. Um, you know, that do I hold that against Duncan? It was really kind of what I guess. I guess again, at the end of the day, the amount of times he gets through the tournament, if he got through the tournament 2 or 3 times, or he got to the finals, maybe if he's 3-1 in the finals. See, I'm not one of these finals record guys. You'll never see me use 6-0 or the down LeBron for 4-6. That's a stupid way of looking at it because again, LeBron got to the last. He got there 10 times, right? The team, whatever he faced to do that, he did it. It's the story behind it. What happened? Okay, again, he got last year against Minnesota. They blitzed him, and Karl Anthony Towns and Nas Reed and Rudy Gobert all took their turns, slowing him down, and he had great numbers, but the impact wasn't. The impact wasn't there. He didn't take over games the way he did in 23. Right, so 23 again, that was lightning in a bottle. They got the perfect storm. They got the Lakers in the conference finals, and every game they finished off in the fourth quarter. Um, this last year was different. They ran into a team that was able to defend him and the rest of his team at a certain level. So I'll put it this way: if he got through that tournament again, so that would be 2 and 3 years, right? You got to remember he didn't have Murray because of the ACL tear for 2 of those years prior to winning that championship. again, if he gets through there, if he gets a couple of the individual MVPs and 2 more chips, yeah, you're putting him further up.
Yeah,
Again,
but
he's
my thing is
gonna go.
this: they kind of go back to when the fact that he's 29 years old, and I'm saying, how many more years do you think he really got left to be making those kind of moves?
I'll put it this way: if he's 29, he got 6 more years. Until he's 35, he'll be at an MVP level. And the MVP, I'm saying he's gonna win, the MVPs, but he will be in the MVP contention for about 6 more years.
This is another thing too. If he don't win it this year, not the MVP, but the championship, it's only going to get harder for him to win.
Just to piggyback off of that, I think, and I hate to say this, but I mean, I'm a Joker fan, but last season I think hurts his case big time, because if we're being honest, they struggled against that Laker team, and then they could not close the deal, even though it was a good series against Minnesota. He couldn't finish the deal. And if you watch that series, that game 7, a lot of the blame, sadly, can be put on him, because if you remember that game, he shot so many threes, but that's because he was tired. He was worn out. He couldn't go down there and battle with Cat, Rudy, and Nas Reed. So he started shooting threes, and it shot them out the game. So I think that unless he can, the way I feel, unless he can put together 2 solid seasons where they at least get to the finals or win championships, I think he's already out of that contention for, anything GOAT related, because of, he failed on a level that I think that he had a chance to really show and prove.
I look at it more so like, I can't say that because I don't know how his career is going to turn out, but I just think it kind of goes back to what I said. Like, the Western Conference is not, we're not seeing it. We don't have a dynasty in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
So in a conference like this, and he's in his prime, I feel like, as I said, especially if you're going to put him in best ever and he's got the best prime ever, you put LeBron and Jordan in this conference in their prime. I don't see that. We know they're going to go to the finals. I'm just put it to you like that, because those 2 guys specifically, without an overwhelming force to stop them, they're really not going to be stopped. And I can't say the same about Jokic. When you look at the Timberwolves were not an overwhelming force.
Thank you. Yep.
So I cannot put him in that discussion unless, like I said, he could win some more chips. He gotta get multiple deep playoff runs, win more championships. You know what I'm saying? He does that, we could start having that conversation. But I'm talking specifically for that conversation, not where he ranks all time right now, but just for that, as far as being the GOAT or having the best prime ever. There's no way.
No, you don't lose to that Minnesota team and you at your peak you're the best ever. No.
That's fair. Definitely fair.
Yeah. So we've gone 2 hours plus. So I do appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. Like I said, Big Nige, we're gonna get him on here again. I'm gonna have to pull rank and get him over here again. But I thought it was good. This was a good episode. Scottie Pippen, not in the GOAT debate, but I think we did a good job of letting you know why not. And we appreciate Sports Talk. I know you were at work and came and joined us. Hopefully, you said 21st, 28th. I'll try to
21st or the 28th.
Yeah,
it'll more than likely be the 28th, but I'll shoot you an email when.
Okay,
I know
we'll
for
try
sure.
to arrange that ahead of time so we can get people. Hopefully that'll come in and kind of watch, the GOAT debate between Sports Talk and King's Speech. So we'll set that up coming soon, and we appreciate you guys just coming out. I know it's a Friday night, and sometimes you want to do other things, but join us and kind of talking basketball. We've had a couple of people in here. Dart from MJFB came through, and Random Clips, Greg Champion. So appreciate you guys being in the comments and just chatting with us. So if you guys got anything to plug as we go forward this week and in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, watch out for my Joker. My Joking Drags the '90s Sinners video coming. I'm working on that. I told you that.
Okay.
Joking Drags the '90s. Yeah, I'm gonna come up with some random rants, man. I did the All Star. I actually gonna do the Western All Stars because I had went through roster by roster to see who deserves to be on the reserves. That's some interesting takes. I mean, I put it this way: both conferences, like I want Cade Cunningham to be on that. Cade Cunningham deserves his time as an All Star, and Eric Mobley. Mobley from Cleveland should be an All
Absolutely.
Star, right? The Western Conference, a new face that I think should be seen. I actually think Norman Powell's an All Star. Most definitely, I think Norman Powell's an All Star. But for him to have a breakout season at 31, that's actually pretty special. Other than that, for most of them are usual suspects out there in the West. I do kind of object to the three old guys being on the team, but we'll get into that later.
Gotcha.
Being the starters, at least, not on the team, but being the starters. I know it's popularity contest.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
I have one question before I
What's
get
up?
out of here. I forgot the name of the guy. I think King Speech kind of mentioned him. The guy that had issues with his mic or whatever. Wasn't he supposed to come on here? Because we kind of had a back and forth
Q.
in his comments.
Yeah, Q. His name was Q. He was supposed to come on here.
Yeah, see, like a good guy. We just couldn't hear him, man.
Is he gonna be on like a Tuesday when y'all have the show or something, or even on a Friday?
I'm gonna see. Well, he said he's down for either one, so I'm gonna see which one we can schedule.
Okay.
I don't know. Again, he was on his computer, right? I had an issue with Restream. I never had the issue with StreamYard. But I guess you got to test it out. So before you just so you don't have this problem again. Because again, you could have had a very good conversation. You know what I mean? But
I'm gonna try to get with them and maybe we can do a little test
do
run.
a test run. Yeah, that makes
get it
sense.
right. Well, yeah, he's have you seen his channel, Sports Talk?
Yeah, we was going back and forth in his comments. That's why I asked.
Okay, I haven't seen that. Okay. Was he on? Was that the pass first?
Yeah.
LeBron? Okay.
Well, see, and I never said he was pass first. I was just saying I was asking. I was more so asking him, what do you call it?
Okay.
Like I gave certain facts or whatever, and then I was like, well, what do you call it? Because I don't even call him pass first. I don't know what to call him.
Okay. So you want to have a conversation with
there
him?
You go.
You said what?
You saying? I said
high
you
usage.
want to have a conversation. Oh, sorry.
Oh no. I was talking to.
No, he asked, "What do you call it?" I just say high usage, like
yeah, but that's not
LeBron
it.
James of fast first player is not.
That's not it. But what was
Ball
you saying?
Dominant? Is that a better way?
No, that's not it.
I won't start it.
You gotta see my argument to see what the point I was making.
I'm gonna check that string of thread out in a few minutes. But so you want to have a little conversation with Q?
No. I was just wondering if he was gonna be on, or when he was gonna be on.
Yeah,
I wasn't really. No, not really. I was just wondering.
So
yeah, we trying to get him on hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But but I mean he's friend of the channel, so we're gonna try to get him on to talk basketball with us as well.
Try to get him on the 28th.
Okay. Well, I will tell him. I will. Yeah, we're gonna advertise this one, so we're gonna make this a big event. First little debate.
This was such a good show. I think I'll leave FYF alone. I mean, throw James Kingdom alone. You
Hey,
know,
hey, ask
I'll let him have another. I'll let him have a week where he ain't got to kick me off his platform because he got cooked. Anyway,
hey, put a good word for me with Lamont. You know, he had a few words for me the other night. I was a bystander. He threw some strays at me, so you know.
hey, they sensitive over there, man. You know how it goes. That clutch money,
We're
bro.
gonna be nice. We're gonna be
They
nice
got
tonight.
they got to let Rich Paul know that clutch money they're getting is worth it, bro.
We gonna
You
be
know,
nice tonight with that crew, but you know I enjoy all of them. I'm in there. I'm in there watching them. So
bro.
if I'm in
I,
there, I'm
I told
enjoying it.
I told you I was up 3 o'clock in the morning watching them show me AD is the reason why the Lakers defense is trash. I just Lord Jesus Christ. And they used the play where he actually recovered from the 3-point line to block Zubac to basically point
Yeah,
that out.
I mean, Johnny's my guy, but I definitely a lot of the stuff he be said, I'd be like, hell no, because
Johnny's a
AD
shot.
is.
He's a sports shot jock, bro.
That
I mean,
that
People don't
80,
realize.
we got to
that
be
80
honest.
take a
AD
plate.
is not a bad defender by any means. I mean, he's
He's
the
the
Lakers'
reason
best
why the
defender.
Lakers have AD for exactly. So
And
I mean, I
and
kind of know. When you try to be too cute with it, I get it. He's not exactly a defensive anchor, but he damn sure is a rim protector. And
yeah,
without that, the Lakers would not have a defense because their perimeter defense is trash. And if you got to pick a struggle. You can't have both of them. You
Yeah,
can't
but
have you
and did
can't
he
have a
say
6'7" Smurf protecting the rim and not be able to defend
Jokic
on the
was a better
perimeter.
defender or anchor?
Yeah,
I think he was
did say
talking
that.
about
They made
his communication or whatever on defense.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
maybe
I
so.
understand
Yeah,
that every team needs a defensive quarterback. That's the way it
yeah,
goes,
yeah.
right? It's just like the
I
Mike
agree.
linebacker in football. Usually is that guy. The guy that's calling out the defense, calling out the switches and stuff like that. I get where they were going, but then
Yeah, me
guess
too.
what?
But
Guess what? There's one guy that don't move and ain't exactly calling out defense either. If you're gonna be that guy standing in the middle of the defense not moving, at least you can communicate who needs to switch. If I'm just saying, but that channel will never call a spade a spade. How
We
it
gonna play
goes.
nice tonight. We're gonna play nice tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna play nice. Listen.
Yeah, we're gonna welcome them on if they want to
I
come on with us. Maybe 28.
I'll pull up. I'll pull
We
up.
know that. We know. But maybe we can get some other people in to judge the that GOAT debate. So we'll see. But
Most definitely. But yeah,
I appreciate
thanks
you
for the
guys.
opportunity, guys, man. I really appreciate
Yeah.
I've been hearing so many bad takes everywhere, even on YouTube, that I got to get my little platform to yap. So
We appreciate that. So I appreciate you guys coming out, hanging out with us tonight. And like I said, just check us out. We will be back next week on Tuesday. Big Nige. We'll have a panel on whatever topic we do Tuesday, and then in another couple of weeks we will have GOAT Talk only again. So so appreciate you guys stopping by. Please like, subscribe, share this video if you would like, and we appreciate everybody stopping by tonight, and we will be back very soon.
all right, guys. Good night.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right.